You've been staring at the same paragraph for 20 minutes. You've reread the first sentence 4 times. You opened a new tab to quickly check something and somehow ended up watching a video about how medieval peasants made shoes. Sound familiar? That's not laziness. That's not a character flaw. That's a brain that nobody ever taught how to actually work. And today, that changes. Here's the thing nobody tells you about focus. It's not a personality trait you either have or you don't. It's a skill. A trainable, upgradable, genuinely improvable skill. Like a muscle, you've probably never deliberately worked out a single day in your life. And look, the world isn't helping. Every app, every notification, every autoplay video is essentially a tiny engineer in Silicon Valley whose entire job is to pull your attention away from whatever you actually care about. You're not fighting distraction. You're fighting billion-dollar machines designed to win. So before you beat yourself up for not being able to concentrate, maybe cut yourself a little slack. Then let's fix it. Let's start with something that sounds almost insultingly simple: breathing. Not in a close your eyes and find your spirit animal way, in a very literal, measurable, neurological way. There's a breathing pattern called box breathing: 4 seconds in, hold 4, out 4, hold 4, and Navy SEALs use it before high-pressure operations. Not because they're into wellness trends, because it works. Here's why. When you breathe slowly and deliberately, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system. That's the part of your brain that basically tells your body, okay, we're not being chased by a bear right now, you can think clearly. Your heart rate steadies. Cortisol, the stress hormone that turns your brain into a panicked squirrel, drops. And just like that, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for actual focused thinking, gets more blood flow. Do this for just 5 minutes before a work session, and research from Stanford suggests it can improve cognitive performance measurably, not placebo, actual measurable improvement. One breathing exercise, 5 minutes. That's the warm-up. Now here's where it gets interesting. Your brain has a natural rhythm called the ultradian cycle. Every 90 to 120 minutes, your brain moves from high alertness into a rest phase, whether you like it or not. Ignore that rest phase and try to push through, and your output tanks. You start making more errors. Your reading comprehension drops. You feel that foggy, heavy, why can't I think straight feeling. That feeling isn't weakness. That's your brain sending you a very clear biological signal that you're treating it like a broken vending machine. Just keep pressing the button harder. Work with the cycle instead. 90 minutes of focused work. A genuine 10 to 15 minute break, not scroll Instagram for 12 minutes and call it a rest. Get up, move, look at something more than 6 feet away. Let the cycle complete, then go again. People who structure their day this way report finishing more in 3 focused blocks than in 8 hours of grinding, not because they're smarter, because they stopped fighting their own biology. Speaking of movement, let's talk about something counterintuitive. You've probably heard exercise is good for your brain, which, sure, yes, thanks, very helpful. But here's the specific part nobody explains. A single 20-minute aerobic session, brisk walking, cycling, anything that gets your heart rate up around 120 to 140 beats per minute triggers a release of a protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF as fertilizer for your neurons. It literally helps your brain build new connections. Studies from Harvard show that exercise-induced BDNF can improve memory consolidation and focus for up to 2 hours afterward. 2 hours of sharper thinking from a 20-minute walk. That's not a bad return on investment. And here's the timing trick most people miss. Do that walk before your most cognitively demanding work, not after. Most people exercise at the end of the day as a reward. Flip it. Use it as a neurological warm-up, and you're essentially giving your brain a performance-enhancing head start. But wait, let's talk about attention itself for a second. There's a concept in cognitive science called attentional residue. Researcher Sophie Leroy discovered that every time you switch tasks, even briefly, a part of your attention stays stuck on the previous task. Like a browser tab that's technically closed, but still running in the background, eating your RAM. So every time you check a message mid-project, you're not just losing those 30 seconds. You're degrading your focus quality for the next 10 to 20 minutes. That's why multitasking doesn't just feel inefficient. It's been measured at reducing effective IQ by up to 10 points in the moment. 10 points. That's not nothing. The fix is almost annoyingly simple. Single task, intentionally, with a defined start and end. Close the other tabs literally and mentally. Tell your brain, this is the one thing right now. It takes practice, but the brain responds fast. Within days, that single-tasking muscle starts to get noticeably stronger. Now let's go somewhere most people haven't thought about: the power of deliberate boredom. This sounds like bad advice. It is not bad advice. Your brain has a default mode network, a system that activates when you're not focused on a task, when you're doing nothing, when you're staring at a wall. Neuroscientists used to think this was just mental downtime, your brain idling. Then they discovered something wild. The default mode network is actually where creative insight, memory consolidation, and future planning happen. It's not wasted time, it's maintenance mode. But here's the thing. We've almost completely eliminated boredom from our lives. Waiting in line? Phone. Walking to the car? Podcast. Shower? Mental to-do list? We have filled every single crack in the day with input. And in doing so, we've essentially shut down the biological process that connects dots, sparks ideas, and integrates what we've learned. Schedule 10 minutes of deliberate doing nothing every day. No phone, no podcast, just exist. It feels uncomfortable at first. That discomfort is withdrawal. Push through it, and within a week you'll notice something strange. You start having noticeably better ideas. Not because you got smarter, because you finally gave your brain space to actually process. B-roll. Person sitting quietly, no phone, looking slightly bored, then a subtle smile like something clicked. Here's the next one, and this one's going to feel surprisingly physical. Cold exposure, specifically ending your shower with 60 to 90 seconds of cold water. Before you click away, hear this out. Cold water triggers a massive release of norepinephrine in the brain. We're talking a 200 to 300% increase, according to research from the University of Helsinki. Norepinephrine is the neurotransmitter most associated with sharp, alert, directed focus. It's literally what your brain uses to pay attention. The cold shower isn't a punishment. It's a neurochemical upgrade in 60 seconds. And the effect isn't just feeling awake, it persists. That norepinephrine boost carries forward for hours, supporting concentration, mood stability, and mental clarity. 60 seconds of cold. The discomfort is real. So is the result. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and most people completely miss this one. Visualization. Not the manifest your dream life version, the specific technical version used by elite athletes and high performers. When you mentally rehearse a cognitively demanding task with precision, imagining it in detail, including the difficulty and how you navigate it, your brain activates almost the same neural pathways as if you were actually doing it. Motor learning studies with pianists showed that mental practice alone produced nearly the same improvement in finger accuracy as physical practice. Your brain cannot fully distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one at the neural level. That's not mystical. That's neuroscience. So spend 3 to 5 minutes before a challenging work session mentally walking through it. Imagine the focus, the obstacles, the recovery when you get distracted. You're literally pre-wiring your brain for the performance you want. The last one is the simplest and the most ignored. Sleep. Specifically, sleep consistency, not just duration. Going to bed and waking at the same time every day, including weekends, aligns your circadian rhythm so tightly that your brain begins pre-releasing alertness hormones before you even get up. You wake up already ahead. Irregular sleep schedules, even with the same total hours, have been shown to impair cognitive function at levels comparable to mild sleep deprivation. Same hours, different schedule, worse brain. One consistent bedtime, 7 to 9 hours. The single highest leverage thing you can do for focus costs nothing. But here's the thing that ties everything together, and this is the part most people never hear. None of these exercises work optimally in isolation. They stack. There's a principle in neuroscience called synaptic potentiation. Repeated, varied stimulation of your neural networks makes those networks significantly more responsive over time. In plain English, every time you layer one of these practices onto another, the total effect is greater than the sum of its parts. Cold shower after a 20-minute walk? Your norepinephrine and BDNF are both elevated simultaneously. That's not two benefits. That's a multiplied benefit. Box breathing before a visualization session? You've lowered cortisol and pre-activated the neural pathways you're about to rehearse. Your brain is essentially running in high-performance mode. These exercises aren't a checklist, they're a system. And when treated like one, the results stop feeling incremental and start feeling like a different kind of brain entirely. Here's the one thing worth remembering from all of this. Focus isn't about forcing your brain to work harder. It's about finally letting it work the way it was designed to. Now that you understand how to train your focus, there's something even more powerful that builds directly on this. It's about sleep architecture specifically, the one sleep stage most people accidentally destroy that wipes out everything you learned the day before. It's wild, it's a little unsettling, and it changes how you think about your nights completely. That video is up next.